into this week's new releases for the week of June 22nd through to June 28th. The first new release I want to share with you is The Accidental Favorite by Fran Littlewood. Now, I absolutely adore this book. Spoiler alert, it was in the summer reading guide, so if you already snagged the guide, you know this. But this is a really brilliant story about three adult sisters. They go to a family holiday, a nice British countryside, but a family secret comes out during something that was being filmed. It went viral. And long story short is the father kind of reveals who his favorite child is. You know how you're not supposed to have a
Yes.
The sisters are kind of feeling it. So we kind of see what happens. So instead of a relaxing weekend with their parents, instead now they're going between each other trying to navigate now the awkward dinners. And each sister has their own story. One has a newborn, one is dealing with social media stalking, another one has this really high-powered career who is crushing under it. So it just gives you relatable sister dynamics, in my opinion. I have an excerpt for this book, so I included a link in the video's description. So you can click through and read, a couple pages, see what you think about it. But I enjoyed it, so that's why I reached out to the publisher and say, hey, share something with me. Also new this week is Lisa Jewell's latest book, Don't Let Him In. Now, I'm a big Lisa Jewell fan, okay? This one promised to be a really twisty thriller, but it didn't work for me, okay? But we don't abandon our authors when they have a dud. I know I've been saying this a lot lately. I will still read a Lisa Jewell book, but this one in particular didn't work for me, but maybe it will work for you. So in this one, there's a dad who dies suddenly. Then we have a daughter who is kind of shocked. Her mom starts dating someone new. So that just really adds into the dynamic. Wait, dad just died. You're dating someone new. It's a lot of changes. And then we see the real world meet up with her mom talking to this person online. And we kind of get this person who she's dating point of view, the daughter's point of view, and just lots of layers being peeled back. There's lots of deceit in here. Again, I'm not enthusiastic about it because it didn't work for me. It's supposed to be a slow burn, but it just fizzled out in the end. I always love female characters. I think the characters, nothing was happening and men are behaving badly as always. So, if you want to give it a read, give it a read. But again, we don't not read our authors when they're failing. Next up, though, is Megan Abbott's El Dorado Drive. This one is a more dark what-if situation. We really get into, I guess you could say financial crimes because there's a real life pyramid scheme happening. One person is feeling their money troubles and goes back home. Then the sisters in that family, they're rolling in the money and they're like, ooh, where's all of this money coming from? Well, it's this mysterious women's group called The Wheel. It promises life-changing payouts, of course, like any good pyramid scheme does. And but before you know it, now our main character who had the money troubles is now in it deep. And we kind of see how the tensions ratchet up because we have family involved, because the other sisters were in on this scheme. So we see what happens when family gets really stressed under financial strain. We also have another family member. We have a niece coming in there as well, who is kind of seeing through the facade of everything. So yeah, there's betrayal, resentment, and all kinds of things, another high stakes thriller. Now we're switching gears. There is a romance that is out that I enjoyed. So this one is When Jarvi Dumped Mari by Mia Sosa. This is so funny. I felt it was heartwarmingly funny. This is a friends to lovers romp. So we kind of see, these two people who are besties and each other's, respective wing people since college. But of course, they had a moment back in the day when one ghosted one, but fast forward now, one is supposed to be getting married, but then one realizes, hey, I still kind of really like this person. So they volunteer to kind of be a maid of honor situation to expose the fiance's, fake life and just all the cracks and stuff. So we see a lot of old feelings, hijinks, laugh out loud moments. I enjoyed it. It was a ride. And then finally, we have Finders Keepers by Sarah Adler. Again, another romance. This is more cozy adventure with, I feel, a side of nostalgia. We have two people who were like teenage treasure hunters. At least they were until they kind of got busted by the police. Now, years later, we see them back in their hometown for reasons you'll find out, and they reunite and they're saying, you know what? Let's go back to that one, treasure hunt find that we were supposed to do, but we never got through to doing it. So we've seen them kind of going back to that. I think I enjoy this because of the sibling style bickering, these are friends. There's just a certain level of comfortability when you've known someone for a really long time, and kind of going back to childhood games and stuff kind of become the backdrop of grown up opportunities and discoveries and just, learning to love and trust someone all over again. But anyway, those are my 5 new releases. Fran, I know you have some as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off with a historical romance. It's Look Before You Leap by Virginia Heath. This is actually a historical rom-com, so a Regency Grumpy Sunshine. It's the second in the series, but you can read it as a standalone. So here we have a grumpy Viscount who is forced into a house party full of debutantes because his mom, is determined to marry him off before his 30th birthday. Now, our heroine Lottie is just a lady's companion who comes to this house party. And she was basically raised by a bunch of dudes. So she climbs trees, she rides horses in her breeches, and she cannot act like a lady to save her life. Of course, she is obviously the one that catches his eye and is not technically marriage material for a Viscount. So it's got a bit of an enemies to lovers vibe, some forced proximity with the house party, and class differences, of course, as well. Lots of banter and charm. It's a great, fun romp. The second one's a bit more dark. It's One Dark Kiss by Rebecca Zanetti. This one is a forbidden modern twist on Snow White. And it is basically a prison revenge romance with the billionaire trope. So we've got Alexei, who just got out of Max security prison. And he's not exactly innocent, of course, but he is not over what was stolen from him. So now that he's free, he's ready to burn the world down, of course, to get it back. And his new lawyer, Rosalie, is smart, steady, and not ready for how off the charts that chemistry is going to be with her client, who is not the best person. So if you like your romance with a bit of danger and some revenge, morally gray heroes, then this one is probably a good one for that. I do have a thriller as well. It is A Happy Marriage by A.R. Torre. This is more of a domestic thriller. The main female character is a homicide detective, and she is married to a psychiatrist. So their marriage has worked really well for a really long time. On the surface, they're perfect, but under that, lots of secret. Both of them have things to hide. She's got something to hide from her past, and he might be actually hiding bodies, literally. And of course, there's going to be something that brings all of those issues to the surface, because there's a case that she's working on that overlaps with one of his patients. So things have to unravel from there. So if you like messy marriages, definitely this is a good one for that. For contemporary romance, I have Writing Mr. Wrong by Kelly Armstrong. This is about the female heroine. She is a debut author. So she just wrote her first novel, just releasing. It's a historical about a grumpy Highlander. And the main inspiration for her character was her high school crush, who is now a pro hockey player. And he had humiliated her in high school. So there was like a whole to-do about, how they fizzled out, and they weren't dating per se. So she's really resentful about what happened then. So she inspires her hero on him, but he's kind of a douche. It's kind of like one of those heroes that is a douche and a villain in a way. And so the talk shows, as she's promoting her debut, get wind of this, and he's a pro hockey player. So of course they're going to bring him in and do like a whole viral thing about, oh, well, did you know that this guy is the hero is inspired by you? So their story goes viral. They hadn't talked to each other in a really long time, and now both of their PRs are like, well, how about we do a little fake dating situation, because that will work really well. And they end up having to do that and having to deal with what happened before. Now I will say that the hero of this story will maybe grate on your nerves a little bit, because he's one of those guys that cannot understand why something, like, he cannot see what he's doing wrong. Just it doesn't compute. Like, that's why he didn't understand what happened before, or why she's mad now, or even the things he's doing on the spot. So if you can get past that, because again, we don't abandon our authors, but if you can get past that, it's a really fun book. There's lots of like funny moments, lots of the quirky things, the fake dating, the virality of all of that. So it is still a good time. And then the last one is A Magic, Deep and Drowning by Hester Fox. Now, this one is a dark, moody historical fantasy, and it's a reimagining of The Little Mermaid. It's set in the 1650s Netherlands, lots of political tension, some creepy sea bargains, and our heroine, who is torn between her duty and her desire. So Clara is about to marry for freedom until she meets a mysterious man from the sea who is very much not who he says he is. So there's myth, magic, ancient deals. And I think if you like The Familiar, this gives kind of a rich historical gothic fantasy vibe, which I personally really love. And Hester Fox, I can never do any wrong. I love her books. So
I'm looking forward to reading this one. So this one is on my TBR, but I have to say, Writing Mr. Wrong worked for me. He's a hero that will grate on you, but it worked for me.
I wanted to choke him a little bit once in a while.
Oh my gosh. But let us know your thoughts in the comments about these new releases. Let us know if there are any books that we didn't cover that you're excited to read. Again, share your thoughts in the comments, share them live. Replay crew, we'd love to hear from you as well.